So, for those of you who are familiar with my videos, this is definitely a different scenery, isn't it? Yeah. Well, I've kind of decided recently that I kind of needed to find a different place to make videos, someplace where I'm alone by myself, not bothered by any of the people I live with. So I think this is a pretty good place. I'm next to, there's a bridge over there, so you might hear some cars passing by. But I don't think it'll be too much of a problem. I'm right next to a railroad. See? So I've never seen any trains on this particular railroad, so I don't think it's used anymore. So that shouldn't be a problem. I don't think this is legal, assuming that those railroad tracks are active, but I don't think they are. So, so the video that I had originally thought of today was to sort of talk about why my videos suck, why my YouTube channel sucks. And the explanation was going to be pretty simple, pretty straightforward, pretty expected, just like, oh, well, I'm lazy, don't put enough effort into it, that sort of thing, and that I don't care too much about building up an audience. I post videos more for just myself, to put my ideas out there, so that I know that my ideas out there, I've put them out there, but then I kind of had a more pretentious reason for doing so, but then my pretentious reason kind of made me come up with a pretty interesting idea. So my more pretentious reasoning for why my YouTube videos suck is that I could always just go back and say, well, I'm just doing videos in the old way of YouTube, the more proper style of YouTube videos, very poorly edited or no editing at all, very little script, sometimes no script at all, and then I could say, well, that's the proper way that a YouTube video should be. But then it kind of occurred to me that I think there's kind of a problem with the overly polished YouTube video. People who almost use too much entertainment value, use too much jokes in constructing their ideas, or or delivering their ideas, I should say. And part of the problem is that a lot of people on YouTube, they want their ideas to be taken seriously. They try to sometimes present themselves as philosophers or as intellectuals, and they want to be taken seriously. But they also want to entertain, or at least they want to build an audience. So they know by doing so, the videos have to be very well produced, and there has to be an entertainment value to it. Sometimes the easiest way is just to crack silly jokes and to be funny, which is fine sometimes, not really a problem. But I've kind of come up with a little name for a specific group of people that I have in mind, and I've called them the entertainers. I'm going to coin that term here. I hope no one else has used it, but I don't think anyone's using it in the way I'm going to use it. And that is people who, they present their videos in a way that's either entertaining or comedic, and they want to be taken seriously, but then when they receive too much criticism or too much negative feedback, then they go back and say, oh, well, you shouldn't take what I have to say seriously. You should take what I have to say with a grain of salt because I'm a comedian or an entertainer. So sometimes I might say something that's a little off the wall or just dumb, which in some instances makes a lot of sense. I think in the instance of like an actual stand-up comedian, it makes perfect sense to say that. I don't think comedians are meant to be intellectuals. I think comedians are just meant to be funny. But I think a lot of them do it in such a way where they try to do it to avoid criticism, any kind of criticism at all, by just saying, oh, well, you know, I'm just an entertainer, I'm just a comedian, I'm just trying to make people laugh, just trying to put a smile on people's faces. So, uh, and really the problem that I see, and is that, and that's not just the problem, the avoiding criticism. The second problem, which is probably more sinister, is using comedy, using entertainment almost as like a substitute to an argument. So instead of having a very well constructed, coherent argument, they'll try to be funny about it, and they'll try to use humor to make their jokes seem smarter or seem better, or use jokes to make their ideas and arguments seem more intelligent or better than what their ideas actually are. Um, and that observation has kind of been inspired by my readings of Apology by Plato. And in that, it's basically like the trial of Socrates. And, you know, in the beginning, Socrates explains that his accusers have constructed these magnificent arguments. He even says that he himself has been, you know, convinced that they were true, or, you know, kind of forgot who he was for a second. But essentially, they were using, rhetoric, philosophy, argumentation to manipulate the truth, to manipulate, you know, what's right and what's wrong. And with these people, you know, on YouTube, the entertainers, I think they're using entertainment and comedy to try to make their ideas seem better than what they actually are, to try to manipulate the truth. So that's really all I had to say about that. Hope you guys enjoy the wonderful outdoors just like I did. So, adios.